welcome to this free agency episode of Believers Talk with Joe and Steve. I'm Joe.
I'm Steve.
And that's what we're going to talk about here today. We're going to talk about the free agency market, how free agency works. It's coming up. It's right around the corner. So we're excited about that. But before we do, just want to remind you to, if this is your first time here or if you've been here and listened to us before, subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our channel, like or dislike this video, and leave us a comment, and we'll happily respond and interact that way. We'll continue with Bill's content and content like this around the league with free agency. So first, what we're going to talk about is, this is the start of the league year, right?
Yep.
Free agency starts on the 14th. However, they can talk from before that.
Yep. Starting the 12th. They have a 2-day legal tampering period where they can hash out a contract, but there's no visits, there's no signing of a contract, just talking out deals, and then obviously you have to wait till the 14th and they can do all that, sign and visit.
Right, yeah, so between the 12th and 14th, you do hear rumors or whatever, people like saying, oh, we're going to sign with them.
Yeah, they agree in principle.
Right. So that's right around the corner. So what we're going to talk about is, we're going to talk about some, in a previous episode, we did talk about the Bills' needs and what we feel a lot of the Bills' needs are. And we're just going to talk about some of the free agents in those markets. If you've been paying attention to the Bills, you know that right now we are trying to fill those voids in free agency as much as possible for a potential move in the draft. So we might be seeing some more names. So first, and probably the biggest need that we agree on for the most part, is quarterback.
Yep.
So what quarterbacks out there in the free agency market?
Yeah, if you're going off the NFL top 100 list, number 11 would be Bridgewater. They could have interest into him. He had that awful knee injury, so he sat out basically for 2 years.
Yeah.
Number 12 would be Bradford. Under that would, to me, makes the most sense of what I think they're going to want to do.
Sure.
But it's going to come to money-wise with that. McCown is number 45, who I would like.
Yeah.
I think he's probably the most sense for me as far as playing-wise, the type of player he is, and how much money they would command to pay him.
Yeah, and McCown played well last year.
Yeah.
And especially for, I mean, you look at the beginning of the season with the Jets, everyone's talking about them tanking kind of like they were with us. And yeah, they didn't finish as well as we did, but they still finished with, what, 6 wins, 5 wins, something like that. And he did well until he got hurt. I didn't expect him to even start the full year. I mean, if you think about the preseason, everyone was saying, oh, who are their weapons? And yet he made something out of them. So,
he'd be a good mentor. Like, what I've heard is a lot of people think he'll make a great coach once he's done. Okay. So that's something maybe they look into.
Absolutely. So any other quarterbacks you're thinking of? Or?
Off the list, Matt Moore, Chad Henne, Derek Anderson maybe, but...
Sure, but those aren't even on the top 100 here. But they would obviously request less money too. Yeah. You know, we could probably sign some of them for close to league minimum or something like that. Especially
probably a couple
Derek
million.
Anderson, So we'll see. And those guys too have been journeymen in their own right. So we'll see what they can do. Maybe we'll sign one of them and be a mentor to one of the young guys that we might get in the draft. So going down the list of needs, we believe that defensive tackle is a need of ours, right? So we'll need defensive tackle help. One of our big name defensive tackles, Kyle Williams, is a free agent, so that's one of the names, obviously. But if you wanted to go through the list, maybe of a couple free agents you like.
Yeah, probably the most notable one, who's rated number 15 on the NFL's list, is Dontari Poe.
Okay.
I like him. He's big space eater.
Yeah.
Take a lot of blocks, help out in the run game, where we need a little bit of help.
Yep.
We kind of lacked there last year.
Yeah. Everyone thought Darius wouldn't hurt us that much, but you could definitely tell there was a difference in the run defense when Darius left. I'm not saying that I'm not still okay with Darius leaving, but there's definitely a gap there that needs filled. But I do worry about how much money Poe will be looking for. So are there some others on the list there?
Yeah, and getting back to Poe just quickly, he seems to tend to sign like a 1-year deal, 1 or 2 year deal,
likes those short deals.
So he can re-hit the market again and kind of set his value.
Sure.
Another name that has some ties to Bean and McDermott is Star Lotulelei from
Panthers,
Carolina.
Right. Yep. Okay.
He's number 27 on NFL's list. Solid player. I don't think he ever became what anybody thought he was going to be.
Okay.
So that's something kind of look at. And then you go down to our guy Kyle Williams.
Kyle Williams.
He's the number 61 rated free agent. I believe he'll be back.
Yeah, if it appears that Kyle Williams has said he's not going to retire. Okay. At least that's the last word we have. And if he doesn't retire, it's hard to see any way else signing him other than Buffalo. But even if we do sign him, I think we still need help at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Still, we need more than one defensive tackle here. So
yeah, I think we have 2 or 3 of them under contract for the next couple of years. So it doesn't look good. That's
right. Yeah,
a position we
that's definitely a position
revamp.
Yeah. So moving down the list of needs for the Buffalo Bills, we have the linebacker position. Yeah. Especially if we can't re-sign Brown, that would be a real big hurt. But we can go down the linebacker position a little bit.
Yeah, even if we do re-sign Brown, we need another weak side linebacker.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So Zach Brown, a former Bill, maybe they can get him back. He had a nice year in Washington too. Mm-hmm. He's been doing pretty good. And like we said, we'll move back to the 4-3, so that'll fit him better.
Right.
And also, he's rated number 17 on the NFL's list. The guy who I love, which I wish would have never left, was Nigel Bradham. He's number 23 on the NFL's list. I think he fits well for us. That would be an awesome need if we can pay him.
And we know that the Eagles are not going to re-sign him. The Eagles have a lot of cap trouble, so that's someone that's not going to be there next year. So he will be looking for a new team. So maybe we'll get him back. Yeah.
And then we go to our other guy, Preston Brown, who's rated number 46.
Which is crazy to me that he's that low.
Yeah, he was a leading tackler in NFL last year. Right. He kind of, I think I read in Pro Football Focus, he was rated as like the number 90th, which is insane to think. He hasn't. So maybe his market isn't as high as we think it's going to be.
Sure.
So that helps us.
That helps us out.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get him back as an to fill the middle linebacker, and then we would obviously still need another outside beside him.
Yeah. So
there's Anthony Hitchens out of Dallas.
Yep.
He could possibly be our outside linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
He did play a little bit inside when Sean Lee was injured, so maybe that versatility connects him to McDermott because he does like versatile players.
Absolutely.
He's number 49 on the NFL's list. And Navarro Bowman, he's older.
Yeah.
But kind of maybe be that stopgap mentor guy for us.
Especially if we do get a linebacker maybe later in the draft. Yeah. Again, as was said before, Milano was a 5th-round pick. We have 2 5th-round picks this year. So, we get another guy like him, bring in Navarro Bowman, who will probably not ask for too much as far as money goes. And we can bring him in to show these young guys how to do it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, so moving on from that part of the defense, we go now to our a position that we feel we filled with Fonte Davis, but we could possibly talk about a little bit with the cornerback position.
Yeah. I think before we kind of both written it off of EJ Gaines probably wouldn't be back.
Yeah.
But with all these trades and moves at the cornerback position, maybe his value has dropped a little bit. He's rated as number 30 on NFL's free agent list.
Top 100. Yep. Okay.
So maybe his value is dropping a little bit because he is mostly his own defensive player. So maybe they can get him back, and if they do, that's a nice secondary.
Absolutely.
Let him play outside, put Davis on the slot, and that's really benefit us.
And then of course we have White on the other side, so it'd be a big time gain for us, I think. So that'd be fun to think about. So hopefully we can sign him for a little bit cheaper than we originally thought, and see where we go from there. Move to the offensive side of the ball. We talk about quarterback a little bit, but another big need that we have would be filling the offensive line, especially center with Eric Wood being out, but definitely getting depth there, period, would be big. So I don't know if there's anyone there you want to talk about.
Yeah, Ryan Jensen's probably the one that makes the most sense.
Okay.
He's going to be a free agent from Baltimore. He's rated 43 of the top 100. So that's the one guy who I could see them trying to target.
Sure.
Because we do have all our linemen under contract this year, and I think maybe that's something they put off to next year. And they try to get some depth, but I think that's the one signing that could possibly happen.
That help us out.
Line. Yeah.
And you look at the possibility of compensatory picks next year. We might have a lot of picks next year, guys, with compensatory picks and things of that nature. So that would definitely be a way to help our offensive line get younger. So again, he might be just like that stopgap for a year or two. until we get younger guys in there. So.
Well, and the other thing too is a lot of like needs that we say they had.
Yeah.
They're filling quickly
right now.
You know,
yeah.
that are helping with the compensatory, and
Yep.
it kind of pushes some of those other things off a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting for us. So that's some of the draft needs. We can talk about again. We do not believe that this is as big of a need as others do. Others out there in Bill's Mafia believe, but some wide receivers are available. We can talk about those a little bit.
Yeah, John Brown's the one that I think they could target.
From Arizona.
From Arizona, yeah. Because he'll give them the speed guy on the outside.
Right.
That's the one guy that I kind of look at as far as receiver. I personally don't feel the need as a receiver. If they would have a speed guy, yes, it would benefit them.
Sure.
But I like our receiving core.
Yeah, I don't think there's an issue with our receiving core. Obviously, we have a couple receivers that are free agents. Some we'll probably bring back one or two of them. Jordan Matthews, I think we both said we would not bring back. I've heard conflicting reports saying we might, so I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen there, but
I think they're going to talk back and forth and kind of like gauge it. Of what I heard the other day on Sirius Radio, that they were going to kind of keep in contact and monitor his situation. I just don't feel if he wants $10 million, I don't think he's that type of player.
There's no way. First, I don't know if there's a way we can afford that much for one position with the holes that we have, and with that not being the most pressing of those holes. And we have our slot guy in Zay Jones. We don't need to get.
Yeah, we just need
to make more
outside
guy, speed guy, maybe like Josh Brown. So those are some of the free agents that we're looking at as far as Buffalo possibly signing. Tell us some that you think are available that you would like to see Buffalo pick up maybe. Again, free agency starts the 14th, which is just a week away, not even a week away, so that's kind of crazy to think about. But it's coming up fast, and as that comes up fast, these videos will be coming out more and more. So if you're interested in more videos of this nature, we'll talk about all the free agency signings that the Bills have and the other big names. There are other big names. Obviously we know about Kirk Cousins and those big names that we'll talk about a little bit as well. But we'll be keeping you up to date with all the free agency signings, other additional Bills news, and as the season gets underway, we'll be right here for you. So subscribe to this network if you would like continuing content, like or dislike this video, and we'll see you next time.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.